Hey, happy 420, everybody. I was kind of in a rush today, so I'm going to spark this sucker up right now. Yeah, happy 420. Got to get this show on the road here. I was kind of running behind. Rush, you know. But here I am. Finally got here. Had a bunch of shit to do. I'm stayed up too late, slept too late, but I'm here now. So spark that thing up and join the show. It's a happy 420. So, been a good week. Seeker, welcome aboard. It's been a good week. Spent a day with my bestie on Thursday. Went up to the bar on Cinco de Mayo. Last Sunday, my wife and I went to a Mexican restaurant, and I wish the waiter a happy Dos de Mayo. He got a kick out of that. So we went. I went up to the bar on Cinco de Mayo. The owner's Mexican Irish, and he was tending bar. I says, "Oh, I see you had to put the Mexican behind the bar on Cinco de Mayo." You know, he got a kick out of that too. But I guess he's going to be working regular Wednesday nights. They're having a hard time finding bartenders. And from what I understand, that's a national problem, getting wait staff and such back into restaurants. I guess it was such an iffy job last year, what with them going to work and then not being able to go to work and then going back to work and then not being able to work. That a lot of those people have found other positions. So I guess I know around here they're having a hard time finding bartenders in all the locations. We have an Amazon distribution center here, and a lot of them just went to work there. $15 an hour plus benefits, and so there's a huge bartender and waitress shortage down here. And most of the people they're hiring are not bartenders. They're beer servers, which pisses me off. They serve you a beer and then they stand there and text on their phone or whatever the hell they're doing. Well, if it is now, S. Cooper, how you doing? I thought you were Stony Baker, MD again. I saw you online. What was it, on the 5th or something? You posted a video. So I thought you were back being Stony again. But that's okay. I'll call you Al. Just like the song, you know. Paul Simon, you can call me Al. Anyway, I got to blow my nose. There's like farm fields around here that haven't been turned under yet, and they're full of goldenrod. My lives go to Alice, but my vids go to Stony. I see. YouTube is fucked up. Oh, yeah. Well, they should start calling it our tube, because it's obviously not for us anymore. It's not YouTube. It's our tube. They have taken over. So, I need light. Can't see. On June 12th of last year, you might remember, I reported this story. But Rayshard Brooks was asleep in the Wendy's drive-thru, and Wendy's called the cops. This was in Atlanta, and the police showed up. Agreed, your curse word was caught. I had to select live chat to see it. Oh. Makes perfect sense if you do heroin, R-tube. Yeah. Well, so they had about a 25-minute conversation in the parking lot, and according to body cams and Wendy parking lot camera, they seemed to be getting along just fine. He didn't seem to be giving them any trouble. And audio, turns out he just, he was drunk, and he just, he was only 2 blocks from his house. And he told the cops that he preferred to just walk home and not be arrested. And they started to put handcuffs on him. And he started to struggle. And he grabbed one of the cops' tasers and took off running. And allegedly, according to the police officers, he turned and fired a taser at one of them, missed. And that officer fired a taser back and then pulled his weapon and, hey, dog, welcome aboard. And shot him twice in the back. And you can hear on the audio, you can hear the cop saying, hey, I got him. You know, like he was proud of the act he just took, you know, in shooting this man down. So he was fired the next day and charged with murder, among other things. Now, this officer, Garrett Rolfe, after Brooks was down, he kicked him, and the other officer who was with him, this guy Brosnan, stood on his shoulders, and they didn't offer him any medical assistance for over 2 minutes. You know, they just thought they'd play with him a while, you know, like he was some kind of fucking dead animal. Hey, I got him, a drunk, helpless guy. Yeah, shot him twice in the back. Okay. So you wouldn't think he'd be much of a danger at that point, you know? Well, the local review board decided that Officer Rolfe didn't get due process in this matter and reinstated him as a cop Thursday. Okay. So he's still on administrative leave, but he's got his job back with all his back pay and his benefits. Okay. And now they're not saying he didn't do it, you know, that he didn't commit a crime. They're just saying that they didn't follow due process in firing him, that they didn't, yeah, he got a vacation with pay, you know, for a year, you know. So, Rolfe claims that he was being threatened and took action to protect himself. He was defending himself, that he was in a life-threatening situation. Except as I recall, a taser is a non-lethal weapon. So I don't see where his life was in danger ever. Okay. So I don't, his partner It was never terminated. He's been on administrative leave all this time. So, did they rape his corpse? I'm surprised they didn't. Okay. And where the hell is the line? I don't know. Yeah. I agree with everything you say. Right on down the line, Al. So that's the name of that tune. Oh, by the way, Bayshard Brooks was 27 years old. He lived 2 blocks. He just wanted to walk home. Let me go and I'll walk home. I'll leave my car here, come back and get it when I'm sober in the morning. No biggie. It's not like I was driving, I was sleeping, Yeah, he was in line at Wendy's, and he had to get there somehow. But still, he wasn't giving them trouble. He wasn't argumentative. They insisted on arresting him. But if you listen to the audio, they never said you're under arrest. They just attempted to put handcuffs on him. Okay. Yes, we do need to rethink police. The taser is less lethal, not non-lethal. Well, I think if you're firing it and you're out of range, that's pretty non-lethal. Okay. He was too far away from the cock to even hit him when he fired the taser. So if a taser takes you down or even slows you down to give opponent initiative, well, I'd call that a deep threat. Well, it can kill testicles. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the guy had already run too far away from the cop to even hit him with the taser when he fired it. So I think at that point, the cop was not threatened. Okay. So, yeah, you're right. Hashtag rethink the police. So the temporary eviction moratorium that was put in place by Trump and extended by Biden and the CDC till the end of June was struck down by a federal district judge in Washington, D.C. So Stoney has wood. Okay. If you say so, Al, you'd know more than I would. But anyway, he claims that the CDC does not have the authority to extend the moratorium on evictions. That it's a judiciary, it's a political matter, and that should be handled through the legislature, and not something the CDC can impose. So, as a result, there's a lot of people who are sweating eviction right now. And rents are skyrocketing, by the way. Turns out that the median monthly charge on a vacant rental has jumped by $185 in the past year. Okay. And it's rose 1.9% in April alone. And that's the highest increase since 2017. And of course, that's putting pressure on poor families. And without the moratorium, it's only going to get worse for people. And they expect 5.3% increase this year, close to the highest increase this decade. So people are hurting, and it's only going to get worse for renters. And I would imagine this will hold true too for any kind of mortgage, any kind of mortgage relief that might come along. So that's where that stands. If you're a renter, you're fucked. Okay. Unless they pass some kind of legislation, and you know that's not going to happen, because this was they tried to get this through on the what was it, the CARES Act, make it a part of that, and that didn't work. So now here's what do we got here? You have seven tenants, all wealthy cunts. Well, then raise their rent. So it's all you got to do. Now you can. Fed said so. Everybody's doing it. You might as well too. Yeah, everybody's doing it. So you can too. Or you can evict them the end of June. Actually, you can do it now, because that was stricken. So in 2020, births fell by 4%, the lowest level since 1979. And this is continuing a multi-year trend for the past 6 years. Our birth rate has been going down. Now, remote learning has had a positive effect on teen pregnancies. And that's a continuing downward trend since 1991. Yeah, 6 years in a row. But teen pregnancies have been dropping since 1991. So no. Although teen sexually transmitted diseases has been on the rise. So they're screwing, but they're not knocking each other up. So, but that's because there's no sex education in schools for the most part. You know, they don't teach them about STDs anymore. But the problem with the drop in birth rate is that this is a downward trend, not just in pregnancies, but in population. We haven't been repopulating our planet with young people at a high enough rate since 1979. We're not replacing old people with young people fast enough. We have an increasing number of old people that are living longer, and our workforce is shrinking. So to be opposed to immigration is not a good thing. We need more people. Okay. Yeah, wealthy cunts have the funds to fight back. It's the poor who get got. You're right. Everyone doing it, picking it and chewing it. Yep. 6 years in a row. No education will create cumbers and Trumpies. cucumbers and Trumpies, because people so stupid they hit in the wrong holes. We can't raise kids safely anymore or healthy. People ain't feeling it, not feeling confident that they can provide for self, let alone another. Who can afford to bring a kid up nowadays? That's true. Yeah, but yeah, well, we're producing fewer kids. They expect there to be 300,000 fewer people this year. Okay. We should encourage immigration, okay? Because we need to increase the workforce to support the elderly. And if we're not going to produce the kids in this country, then we better start bringing them in from other countries. We're going to face the same problems they're facing in Europe, because they have the same problem too. And they stopped producing kids. They stopped producing kids a whole long time ago. A lot more than us, okay? Remind you, forgot you had a vasectomy. Yeah, me too. Ms. Pariah, welcome aboard. My country is freaking out that Colorado passed funding for more education and to include preschool in free education. That's, your county is freaking out. Well, that's the way it ought to be. I'm sorry. I mean, preschool should be free so that single moms don't have to shell out 3/4 of their fucking income to raise their kid, okay, while they're at work. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I corrected myself. I mean, free preschool should be happening. Free community college, so that mother can educate herself while the kid's being taken care of. She could work a job making a living wage, okay? All of those things should be happening, okay? Your county said nay. Well, that's their problem. Some projected consequences of this birth-death trend surprised me. And I'm still looking for more info, trying to get a head around this. Some non-intuitive stuff results. Yes. Life shouldn't end with children. It should start. It should be the start. Yes, it should. And women are having fewer births in their lifetime. Okay, that's dropped by 4% just since 2019. You know. So we just so this business is slowing down. Immigration under the Orange guy's administration was really a bad idea. We need more people in our workforce. So wow. So the wow is SBS, sour banana sherbet. And it's 22.30% THC. And it's an indica hybrid. And from what I read, it's knock your penis to the pavement indica. So hopefully I can stay awake for the whole show. It all comes down to the economy. Worse it is, the worse the people's lives are. Well, the problem with the economy is greed and the hoarding of money by the wealthy. Okay? If they do what they're promising to do in this administration, oh, that was Stoney said, oh, now the fuck up. Okay, Stoney. Now you got me all fucked up. I don't know what I was talking about. I forget. That stuff may be easy for some, but I got to work at it. It may be an obvious thing, but they don't help in my case. Every job is worth minimum a living wage. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But getting them to increase the minimum wage is the problem, What am I smoking? I'm smoking sour banana sherbet. That's the weed of the week. UW Perps. So, all of those factors should come into play, okay? Minimum wage, free preschool, and free community college. Those all should come into play, all right? And then maybe, okay, maybe, oh, and also there has to be gross police reform. We have to stop hiring ex-military to be police officers. And stop all of this fucking voter reform shit that's going on. That's crazy. There has to be federal voting laws, okay? And government-supported prostitution. Well, prostitution should be legal anyway. See, the problem with prostitution is that women just don't understand it. Men are not paying for sex. Fuck, you're high. Okay. World economy used to just be a way to describe people making trade. Then the word was weaponized, and I don't know what the duck it means now. Well, it all started under Reagan, okay, with deregulation and his alleged trickle-down theory. The problem is we're all still being trickled down on, okay? That's the problem. Corporations started outsourcing everything to other countries, and it was not more evident than it was this past year when we didn't have any masks or respirators because we rely on foreign trade for that, when we ought to be making that sort of thing in this country. Okay? As I pointed out, if Russia were our enemy, if China were our enemy in any kind of war, and we needed medical supplies of any kind, where would we get them? We're not making them here. We rely on them for everything. Okay? Rely on them for everything. And we have to stop that. We have to start manufacturing things in this country again. Okay? Yeah, Reaganomics. That's what it was. The trickle-down theory. So we shopped out all the jobs So now the biggest industry in this country is the service industry. Okay? That's the biggest industry in this country, is the service industry. Hotels, motels, bars, and restaurants. That's ridiculous. And none of them make minimum wage. You know what they pay the bartenders around here? $6 an hour plus tips. China owns $1.9 billion in farmland alone in the USA. Wouldn't be surprised. We're back and bold to see the truth. Okay? A new world order towards fascism. Exactly. 6 OMG. I sold my carpenters at 18. Good for you. Up to 30. And that's what they pay them, $6 an hour plus tips. Yeah, see, if you pay people well, they'll stick with you. And they'll do the work. They won't fuck you if you're paying them a decent wage. So I need to get to the Wheat of the Week story. Okay? Because I haven't done that yet. And this week, it's show and tell. Okay? First, I got to tell. You supported 5 families when you were a contractor. That's great. Now, last week on the show, I told you that I had dropped 6 seeds the previous Tuesday. And that on Thursday of last week, one of the seeds had popped. The one that I got from Buds. Wish Buds was here, because he'd appreciate this. Anyway, and I was lamenting on Saturday that that's all I had was one plant, and that I was going to probably start over on Monday and scrap the 5 that hadn't popped and start over. Well, Sunday, 2 more came up. So I thought, well, now I have 3. Maybe I'll just wait and see what else happens, okay? So, okay, I see what's going on here. So nothing happened on Monday. Tuesday, a 4th one comes up. I'm thinking, well, 4 out of 6, that's not bad at all. So Wednesday, dog comes over. We chat, get high, watch some TV. And he goes home. Right after he leaves, I go take a look in the tent. And I have 5. Okay? So I got 5 out of 6. So I'm a happy camper this week. Now that's the tell part of show and tell. Now I want to show you the first one that popped. Now, she's 9 days old. Yeah, dog gets high. You fired Al, huh? So anyway, here she is. My pride and joy. Can you see her there? So she's 9 days old. Well into her second set of leaves, real leaves. Wait, there you go. You see, here, I'll turn it so you can see that the red behind her. See, and she's not all stretched out. She's a shorty. Kept her down. Real short nodes between the leaves. And she's coming out quite nicely. So there you go. So that's the one, that's the seed I got from Buds. So that's the, what did he call it? I got it written down here. Grail Valley Kush. So that's show and tell. Fuck off, it's one thing to cut off your fingers with a skill saw, but did it with a handsaw. Come on. You gotta know when to stop. You gotta know when to stop. Pretty good looking plan, huh, Stoney? Can any ism serve seeing it as how the diversity of human expression is so wide? No. It's like Bob Marley said, you know, I'm tired of this ism schism game. Okay. Fussing and fighting in Jesus' name. That's the rest of the line. But, you know, it's an ism schism game. So, back to the news. Putting up with you. You're one of the best parts of the show. You add a lot of humor. So, if Antarctica, if its shelf ice were to melt, the ocean would go up 9 inches. Oh, excuse me. It raised by 190 feet. My mistake. Now that's 9 times as much as if Greenland were to melt. Okay. And yeah, Florida disappear. Yeah, if it was under 190 feet of water, yeah, I think so. We'd lose California too. You'd be in deep shit, Stoney. All the other ice sheets and glaciers would cause major problem to coastal cities. Now, the thinking is that we must keep the global temperature from increasing no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. So we would keep the rise to just over 5 inches by the 22nd century. Okay. So if we don't let the temperature get above that. So that's what we're striving for, I guess. Yes, ism schisms. You got it. They only work to divide. Isms do. So the Mad Dabber. He's here too, huh? Okay. So now there's some question as to whether warming would actually cause the South Pole to disappear. Some schools of thinking feel that that increased temperatures would also increase summer snowfall. So that the South Pole wouldn't disappear, but would remain static, okay, and not disappear at all. Playing all sides against the middle. Yes, somebody is. But if it goes, we're in deep shit, and so we got to keep maintaining this temp and keep our emissions down. Schools of thinking makes one think there's someone thinking. It's a possibility. So, in that same vein, China's emissions exceed all of the developed world combined. Okay. And that's emissions of 6 heat-trapping gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. So China accounts for 27% of the global emissions. And we're second in the world in our global emissions with 11%. And India is at 6.6%. Okay. But we produce more emissions than Katie. Welcome aboard. We produce more emissions per capita than China does. That's because they're so impossibly overpopulated. So, but we've been doing it longer too. We've been at it since 1750. Okay, they haven't. So we've pumped more than 4 times the greenhouse gases into the atmosphere than China has. But China's at it full tilt right now. So Confusion says, "You plays baseball." Whoops, where'd you go? I lost it. Oh, I can't get there from here. If the Gulf Stream stops, there can be winter-like summers in the northern hemisphere. Desalination of the oceans by glacial melting is slowing it. Crazy. Yeah, it is. So through KD, so true. I missed that. Anyway, Confusion says, "She, Roy." Confused, yes. Confusions. It's a race to destroy ourselves. Yep. She, Roy, tree, Roy. It's a big one, huh? Wow. So, yeah, so China's new to the game of, of adding greenhouse gases to our atmosphere, but they're like trying real hard to catch up with us. And Katie has scored some UW weed. What about that Chinese rocket debris, which is to fall unplanned to some random place on Earth? Yeah, well, now they're saying it's going to be in the southern hemisphere. And it's going to be in I don't know, like 4 hours or something. So we're safe. Yeah, more like radioactive. Yeah. 10 stories tall. Yeah. Well, last time they dropped some cosmic debris, some 10-foot rod went through the top of somebody's house off the coast of Africa, I believe. Can we keep it if it lands in our yard? I don't know about that. You know, I think the feds are going to want to take it away from you. And if it's radioactive, I don't think you'd want it anyway. Sweet grow room. Yeah, if it's 10 feet tall, you could grow some fucking monsters in there. So, facing a possible extinction of tens of thousands of species of animals and the growing threat of climate change, the Biden administration announced Thursday plans to protect 30% of the nation's land and coastal territories. How about the COVID having infected people in multiple locations in Italy in September of 2019? That's just a distraction for something else that is going on. Hey, look at this while we do this. Well, that's why it was called COVID-19 and not COVID-20, because it broke out in 2019. Okay. If it broke out in 2020, it would have been COVID-20. But there were cases in 2019. That's why it was named COVID-19. Okay, so, I mean, of course there were cases in 2019, or they wouldn't have called it that. And I'm sure there were people who had it and didn't know, and they didn't even know what the fuck to call it at that time. And they just called it the flu. You know? You thought 19 Chinamen created it. Yeah, so did Trump. But then, you know, you just need a shot of bleach and chug a gallon of Lysol and you got it covered. Seems to me that sending a rocket up in that way is not good for global relations. And so I wonder if there is now a mad dash for world militaries to position in space, get that high ground. I'm sure lots of people had it in December 2019 in the PNW. Trump pansies. Star Wars. Yeah, well, they've been told by other governments not to be shooting up rockets of that type, since they're just going to fall out of the sky anyway. So, that summer it was in Italy. Yeah. The leaders of my area still believe it's called C-19 because it's the 19th COVID humans have had to deal with. No, it was discovered in 2019. That's why they called it COVID-19. You know, that's how they do those things. Where else was it when? Where Or else was what when? Please move. Yeah, move to where sane people live. The Ultimate Warrior. Okay. How many books in this series? Can I get someone to read it to me? You know, audiobooks or something. So much easier that way. When are the movies coming out? That's simpler still. Got out of the lab into the population in 2019. Came from 19 bad grapes. It's audio. Okay. So, this Biden administration thing to save national land and coastal territory comes on the heels of California and other states doing the same thing. Okay, they had plans in the works to protect 30% of California's land and coastal area as well. It's over 1/10 of national land and a fourth of the what is this? Fourth of the U.S. coastal territory are under some form of federal protection. And they released a statement. This is the first national conservation. What I got here? It's the first national conservation goal we have ever set as a country. So it's nice to know they're doing something to protect this land. Yeah, I like having somebody read to me. Conflicts with what stuff, Seeker? Conflicts with what Trump told us? Because that wouldn't surprise me any. So difficult to get people vaccinated here that they are bribing people to take a free vaccine. Currently, it's a free train ride on the Royal Gorge Railroad. Yeah, I heard of a place that was given a shot and a beer to young people, you know, the over 21s, but the under whatevers that just refuse to get it. Long hits for vaccinations. There you go. Only 21, only 2. There you go. I'm super happy that Biden is taking on land protection. I am too. Believe me, that's because Trump was going into virgin forests that had never been touched by any of us, you know, I mean, that had been protected in Alaska and stuff. And it was so bad, so terribly, terribly bad. And it's nice to see that those places are going to be protected again. Patriots protect their lands. Well, you know, look at all the rainforest we're losing. You know, we lost, you know, in Brazil, what did I say last week? We lost 4 Manhattans or something since the first of the year, or 6 Manhattans. You know, all that acreage already lost. I think it's wise to include the potential that it got loose in a place, and that got loose in another place, and then got loose in another place. Yeah, I think so. I'll take that bribe. What bribe are you talking about? It's our source of oxygen. I know. That's why I'm glad I live in corn country. Plenty of oxygen here. Stealing land from the indigenous peoples and the national parks for exploitation. Yes. I didn't see any mention of a bribe. I just see where they're going to spend money to protect the land. You're surrounded by cannabis trees. There you go. Plenty of oxygen there. Speaking of which, I need a hit. Oh, we're rapidly coming up on 420. And 13 baby she-roys. Well, you're going to need that 10-foot tall grow room, aren't you? So how about that little baby of mine, huh? Ain't she sweet? Like, take the offer, but only if I can delay the ride for quite a while. The train has been, among many other places, regular super spreader locations. Yes. 2 are crack babies waiting for Chinese's rocket. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It'll make a great grow room, that 10-foot tall thing. You mentioned it before. You need it for the she-roys. How has this new administration been for indigenous representation? Good. They have a Native American in the Interior Department. She's in Secretary of the Interior. So they're looking out for the indigenous people of this country. They're giving land back and all kinds of shit. So they're working for them, not against them. I get shot number 2 on Monday. I was supposed to get it back on Wednesday, but I had to reschedule. Did they reschedule or did you? I mean, was it up to them to change the appointment? She's track record of serving the people. So I think that appointment may realize some good. I think so too. Yeah, I got mine a couple of weeks ago too. So got it covered. So I wasn't able to get on YouTube Tuesday. I tried 7 times. And after I went past the second 420, I gave up. I made out with my neighbor with no issues. Okay. Got my ride wrong day. Oh. Well, hey, happy 420, everybody. I didn't forget. Saying some affirmative action kind of stuff. Thus far, it seems they are putting people who get stuff done into jobs that need to be done. Yes, it does. My neighbor is a chicken coop. Chicken have no lips. This is true. You ever see clear cones? Clear cones. No, I haven't seen clear ones, but these are pretty light in color, pretty thin. I've seen ones that are not as light in color as these, but I don't get bleached ones. I have clear papers. Pilgor gave you a bunch. Oh. Blueberry flavored. I never liked flavored papers. You miss them, huh? I just started checking out his channel and now he's gone. So I just started missing them. Licks of the chickens fell off their mouths to become those old combs on their chin. I see. Wow, they're prehistoric descendants of dinosaurs. Direct, Some dinosaurs had beaks. That's why they're two-legged, all that shit, Some flying dinosaur. Smoking blue cheese from our bro. Made a mistake of giving me his phone number. Oh. Okay. But yeah, I was watching Pawn Stars some years back, and this guy found some chicken glasses that, glasses that chickens wear. Their lips must have fallen off because they raise up such a racket when perturbed. They complain their lips right off their mouth. That's a possibility. Phone is really short for telephone. I see. But anyway, these glasses were invented back in the 50s, I believe, or maybe earlier. But they have red lenses, and they fit right on the beak of the chicken. And I don't know, but probably made it really hard to masturbate. Anyway, the chickens wore their glasses because at the sight of blood, chickens will kill each other. They'll kill. If a chicken's bleeding, other chickens will attack it and kill it. Okay. So they put these glasses on the chickens, these red glasses, so that they would never see everything. Would look red to them, and they wouldn't attack other chickens that might be bleeding. Okay. In the chicken coop. Okay. If they have large numbers of chickens, the potential for one of them to get scratched is, I guess it's great. Okay. So, and of course, if they're all attacking this chicken and one of the others gets blood splashed on it, then they too get attacked. And it creates a chain reaction. Okay. But if they're all wearing red glasses, then none of this happens. And I guess They work, but the company wasn't very successful. So I can see the dino in chicken for sure. Yeah, sure you can. What's it do to humans? I would imagine if you're bleeding, if your foot was bleeding, a chicken would attack it, you know. T-Rex has such short arms for having flapped them off, trying to become a chicken. Ah, there you go. So don't spray paint the neighbor's chickens red. What'd you say, Katie? She say poop head? So, yeah, I mean, chickens are, I don't know, they're as prehistoric as alligators, don't you think? I mean, birds in general. I mean, there's some weird creatures, you think about it. These clear papers remind me of Japanese rice candy. You can eat the wrappers. Ah, I have Americuna chicken God's joke. Okay. What's the joke? Now you got to tell us the joke. If you got a joke, you got to tell us the joke. Chickens are mean birds. Yes. I was going through the nearest town here, Braidwood, Thursday, and I had to stop in the middle of the block so these 4 ducks could walk across the street. So they're ugly birds. Chickens are ugly birds. There's a reason they say pecking order. Yeah. That's another way they end up bleeding, you know, peck the shit out of each other. And then on the way back, I took a back road to my house, and there were 5 turkeys in the middle of the road, took off flying. So, well, you know, off to the side of the road. Yeah. I had a pet chicken. I named him Stewie, for stew pot chicken. He loved me, I'm sure. How tasty was he? Roosters will tear you apart. Yeah. So we killed more mice than my cats. Wow. Picked up their buttholes. A hawk took them. Ah. So you don't know what he tasted like. See, that's what you're supposed to do with an old rooster is make cockavan. You're not supposed to use a young chicken for that. That's your cats are useless. Oh, they give love and poop. I see. Driveway of feathers. And a squack. Gone. See? You ate hawks now. They're fun to watch. I remember a buddy of mine and I in Wisconsin. We were in Green Lake, Wisconsin. And we were laying in the grass, shooting 22s straight up in the air at a hawk that was circling overhead. How stupid is that? I better. And of the hens I've known, they were the most clever. Chickens can always be very sweet as pets. Yeah, Mrs. SPLIFFY and I knew a girl who had a duck as a friend. Kept it in her kitchen in her apartment, fenced in. And it would back up to the wall and shit. Straight up the wall. Yeah, at least we weren't throwing darts. Yeah. You're right. Or arrows, yeah, right. No, they were long rifles. You were shooting long rifles. And then his uncle got pissed at us because he had a snapping turtle in the duck pond. And we were trying to kill the fucking snapping turtle. We were shooting at it in the duck pond. And his ducks died from eating the fucking lead. So they were not like they were diving for the bullets, but they went down for them later. There are diapers that can be purchased for pet chickens. To each their own. I'm good with being friendly with flock as neighbors, not housemates. Exactly. You know, there are some animals are indoor pets and some aren't, you know. My buddy was shooting at a seal once. He turned around and he was wearing a mask and snorkel. Oh, shit. I hand raised a sparrow for a pinky that fell out of the nest. Awesome bird. Oh, that's cool. But he lived to tell the tale of it. Ah, yeah, did he? The guy in the mask and snorkel? Yeah, seal, not seal. Yeah. You know, you talk about a pinky. Did you know that Tweety was originally a pink bird, and the censors made him put feathers on him? So they said he couldn't be pink, but he was pink in his first cartoon. So, you know, you couldn't have a naked bird, but you could have a pig running around with no pants on, you know. How ridiculous is that? Seals have better complexions. Not the singer. I gotcha. I thought you were saying like my buddy shot at a seal And the seal turned around. Oh, cool. Yeah. Barney's naked in front of our children. Yeah. You've never been naked in front of my child. What a one-dimensional character. You know, I'd never let a kid of mine watch that shit. Now, Pee Wee Herman, that's another story. The Pee Wee's Playhouse show, that showed imagination, you know, creativity. You know, I mean, that's a kid's show. Secret Word, all that shit. The bird liked my neck under my hair. Bird lives in a school bus driver's hair. That's right. Katie, you drive bus. Yeah. Well, that's probably why the bird liked your hair, looking for nesting material. Don't you think? Looking for a place to nest. You know, gee, this feels like home. You know, gee, it's great to be back home again. Yeah, I know Eric Cartman. No, that's Homer. Wrong show. Barely had feathers when it would hit in my hair. Yeah, well, I was looking for some place to just rest. You know, some soft, warm, cuddly place. Wizard in a movie house. My bird in hair too. The imagery of in movie was so much more gross than that which reading of the book did. I see. I have bird baths everywhere. I had one in my front yard in Chicago, and somebody stole it. Yeah. They jumped over the front fence and ran off with it. And it was attached to a concrete, I cemented it down to a concrete paving stone, a round one. They took that too. I had a bird fly into my room. I turned off the lights, went back out the window. I went back out the window. Start tweeting as soon as you walked in the room. Huh? You have 3 bird baths and a fountain in your backyard. I had 3 sparrows in my cellar. They must have hatched from a nest under my house. You know, like they built them because my house is on footings. And then the guy just put up paving stones around the place to make it look like it had a foundation. And a bird must have built a nest somewhere. But I went down in the cellar one day and there's 3 little sparrows flying around. So I threw a towel over them and let them loose. So You have exciting bird stories. Yes, you do. Your kitty certainly likes birds. Don't most kitties like birds? Kitty, Spliffy the Sparrow King. Yeah, well, I just thought it weird that they'd be in the cellar. You know, you open the door and there's these birds flying around. Actually, I think Mrs. Spliffy found them and started screaming. And then I went down there. But, one of them might have even flown up into the house. And I caught it up here. And then there were two more downstairs. Moles. Oh, Christ, I got moles. I gave up. I gave up on the moles. The dogs dig. It's a mess. You got an old wet French fry once. You get 2.3 mice a day. I first assumed it was a bat in the basement. That's a good kitty. Yeah. Moles help add organics to the soil. Yeah, but they also help twist your ankle when you're walking in the yard. You know? I'd roll the lawn, but my lawn tractor is down. Bats are in the belfry, silly. You know, the holes the dogs dig, they don't help either. And I have a thick lawn, so it's not easy to see the holes or judge where the ground's soft, you know. So, cough, cough. So, the guy who's going to put a new foundation on my house and stop all the sand from coming in stopped by this week to take measurements. He's also going to put in a French drain, a rather lengthy one, which will cost me $1 zillion, I'm sure. Yep, going to lift my house and put in a foundation under it, so it won't be on fittings anymore, and I can get my crawl space back and not be concerned about it filling with sand anymore. You've done many. Well, you could have had this job. Then I have to get my roof repaired because a portion of this house is on a slab, and the part that needs a foundation is pulled away from it. So, lifted 2 feet. Okay. I have to lift it back into position with the other part of the house. So, you're retarded, retired? Okay. Me too. So, but yeah, I have to have that done. he said he'd get back to me next week with figures. So I'm going to have to go to the county and get it all approved. I might even have to hire an architect to have drawings made up. And then if I have to do that, then it has to go before an architectural board for their approval before it can go to the county for permits. So, but so 63 on Tuesday. You draw plans. Oh, you're going to be 63 on Tuesday. Nice. Happy birthday. So who's your favorite artist? Musical artist? Almost get major here occasionally. Making hills of pasture, mounting dirt high enough for neighbors, riding over to propel stones like bullets. Yeah, here too. Tito's birthday today. Happy birthday. Black Sabbath and the Who. I think I already did the Who. I haven't done Black Sabbath yet. Maybe I should throw together a Black Sabbath show for Tuesday. Led Zeppelin. I think I did them already too. Wow, let's see. Yeah, I don't see why not. I could do Ozzy. Why not? Sure. I can do a happy birthday, Al S. Cooper. Or do you want me to do a happy birthday, Stoney? You tell me. Is it Al's birthday or Stoney's birthday? I need to know. If I'm dedicating a show, I need to know whose birthday it is. I could do Alice Cooper. Yeah, I could. But he wants Ozzy, so I don't know if it's Al that wants Ozzy or if it's Stoney that wants Ozzy, though. I need to get that information. So she's 12. Alice is your baby sister. Oh, she's 12. Well, that's quite the age disparity. So is this a show I'm dedicating this to you, or am I dedicating this to Al? I need to know. You got to tell me. Tell me. I make sport of stomping on any and all mole mounds in range of my walking feet. Sometimes there are enough to make a dance of it. Stony, okay. Okay, I'll dedicate it to Stony. Oh, you be quiet. Or is that both of you? Is that both of you? Okay. I'll be right back. I gotta let the monsters out. I'll be right back. Now don't go anywhere. This will only take a sec. Come on. Where are you at, honey? Come on. Come by the door. Come on. Stay out there for a while. There they are. My dad would dump a quart of oil down the hole and plug it with a rock. He had 100. Didn't work, no. Dad used those prongs on springs traps. Okay. Nasty things, those traps, yeah. Well, now what I did was take a flare and put it down the hole. And that's supposed to smoke them out. And all I did was I just saw smoke coming out of holes all over my yard. But I didn't see any moles come out, just smoke. So yeah, they work, but if you're going to lose a kitty to them, that's not good. Yeah, you'd think it'd be awesome, but it didn't do any good. It just, just smoked the roots of my grass. Apparently all the tunnels that it went through were vacant. So Bill Murray would be so proud. Caddyshack reference. Yeah. Yeah. Well, somebody told me that it'd work, but I picked the wrong holes, I guess. But I had a dog keeper a lot of years ago here when we first moved in, and she literally chased one in a circle, a perfect circle at the far end of my yard. It was a perfect circle, though. The thing had my dog going in circles. It was really annoying. She dug a trench, So I think I have at least one dog at the backyard, but I'm going to wait a while because they don't deserve to come in so soon. They've done flares, gasoline, cherry bombs into the red ant holes here. Fun, but it sends biting ants flying without wings. Yeah, and then they're everywhere, right? Just pulled a hard right till exhaustion. Oh, It just pulled a hard right till exhaustion. Large number of bald eagle deaths are directly attributed to rat poison. Sick rodents are easier pickings. I can see that. Toxin remains in rodent's body to then poison the eagle. I mean, I can see where that had happened. Cougars and bobcats too, huh? Yeah. Well, probably happens around here too with hawks and field mice that come indoors in the winter, you know. You know, the field mice come indoors for the winter, not the hawks. So, you know, and then probably carry it out with them. But I love to watch the hawks around here. So, and owls, we got. I saw one just broad daylight, just sitting on a sign at an intersection one day. Great big fucking owl. So ugly hookers are hunting for food too. Economy sucks. But well, if you want to make $6 an hour and 10 bar and cook food at the same time, the keg's looking for people. So they need 2 new bartenders so they can fire one of the ones they have. So, so they got one they want to get rid of. Well, now it sounds like I need to let them in for sure. So I'll be right back. Buster, get in the house. Buster, get in the house. Let's go. Come on. Get in here. I have an owl. I saw it only once here at night. Flat out weird. Yeah, they're quite the predator. Decon is a horrible poison. I quit using Seeker for that reason. I get a few mice in here, and I use glue boards. Makes even you bleed out of every hole in your body. Breaks down your platelets so your blood cannot clot. Yeah. And the more fluids they drink, the more rapidly it works. I think one runs away every day who comes home disappointed daily. Great horned owls are here now too. I hear them for short periods of time, a couple or a few times a year. Have had few encounters, but hear them often. Well, that's why I thought it was so odd that this one, in broad daylight, was sitting on a sign right at an intersection. It was so weird, you know. Well, it's in, you know, it's in a rural area, but still, I mean, I pulled up, didn't fly away, just looked at me. Flashed in front of your car lights. Cool. Yeah, this was light tan and a monster. I mean, it looked so fucking big. At first, I didn't know what the hell it was, you know, because it was so huge. But I wouldn't mind seeing it again. You know, he was a great big guy. Where's this joint? This the right one? No. That's the right one. I heard an owl this morning before the sunrise. Made me sad because the trees are going to be cut down. They're dangerous dead. Oh yeah, those ones that are going to be removed. Maybe the owl had something to say. Basketball size. Think he lives in a tree? You know, a lot of birds live in dead trees. They hollow out easier. Saying, who do you think you are? His name was Roger Daltrey. He lives in the woods. I used to go around the state inspecting all the casino riverboats with my partner, and there was one in Alton, Illinois, and we would stay overnight at the state park. We'd get a cabin, and that's where we would stay. And as you came in, the town that the state park was in was not in Alton. It was a next little town up the road, about 15 miles or so. I don't remember what the name of the town was. Grafton, that's what it was. And as you came into town, Grafton was the winter home to the bald eagle in our state. Okay. And it's right across the Mississippi River from the state of Missouri. What you got going on here? You keep hoping either the owls or the hawks will nest in one. It cannot be cut down then. The birds in their nesting sites are protected as birds of prey. Collecting indeed the dead mice, my catskill. May the bluebird of happiness nest in your tree, Roy. One day I was browsing the range for good fields and great eats when I came upon the sound of chainsaws and hawk cry. A stand of trees was being removed in the distance. A hawk howled. Seemed like shame. Who balled your eagle? But it was kind of a drizzly day, and we were coming into Grafton, And there's this huge dead oak tree, and the tree was almost black, and it was filled with eagles just sitting in this tree on almost all the branches. It was just filled with birds, all resting in this same tree in this drizzle, you know. I'm probably huddling together for warmth. I don't know, but I never saw so many eagles in one place all together, and you know. And this was quite some time ago, and we didn't carry cameras, and we certainly didn't have cell phones. But I wish I did. I would love to have gotten a picture of that. It was truly amazing. No, I don't think it was crows. Eagle nests have weird collections. It is sad, Seeker. Sure it wasn't the tree screaming? We have huge seagulls everywhere. But I mean, these were bald eagles, for Christ's sake. I never even realized we had that many bald eagles in the state of Illinois, let alone all in one place, you know. It was really something. They are awesome plants. I've got an oak tree in my backyard that I don't know that two of me can reach around it. Okay. It might be the biggest oak tree in this area. It's one big mamma jamma right off my deck. In fact, I see where I have to either chip out a little of the bark or trim my deck back. It's still growing. So oaks are the king. Yeah, I have 7 of them on my property here. See, those are pigs with wings. I see one and I think of pig on the wing, pigs on the wing. Okay. Well, in Chicago, they consider pigeons to be rats on the fly. So, yeah, they are rats with wings. So, and they, what they did in Chicago is they introduced the peregrine falcon to the city to help clean up the pigeon problem. So there are fewer pigeons now than there used to be. So I really don't know what I think about that. I mean, yeah, they live in the city now. I'm not sure what I think about that. I have mixed thoughts. Because, I mean, pigeons were terrible. I mean, they were everywhere. And they tried other things that I thought were more inhumane. We have a pair of falcons downtown, too. But the pigeons are still there. Oh. See, they tried smearing some sort of icky stuff on all the windowsills of the downtown buildings so that the pigeons wouldn't roost there. And that was really disgusting. And it really didn't work. So I think that was a really dumb idea. And they did that for years, at a cost to the taxpayers. Could have been Katie. The sound of tears and a feel of sunken heart was real. They took them all probably for one person's toy garage. Yeah. Well, and it was affecting other birds too. So, and any rodents that were run on the outside of the building were getting stuck in it. So people found that unsightly. Looking out the window and seeing a rat stuck on your windowsill, wiggling around, wasn't pretty. Starlings lay nest on only 3/4 of an inch of trim on your house and poop down the side. Oh, nice. They nest in the BA letters of Bank of America buildings and secretaries and law offices. Below hated the blood and feathers from the falcons feeding their young. Oh, nice. My bestie had doves nesting on her front porch last year, and she left the nest there because doves often come back to the same nest year to year. But this year she has finches, so not in the same nest, but she has finches on her front porch. But the doves didn't come back, so I told her it was probably COVID. So, but she's glad to have new tenants. So, I spent the day over there one day this week. So, actually, just the morning. Her daughter had a wrestling match in the afternoon, and she threw both of her opponents. So, pinned them both. So, my name is Sue. How do you do? Other than the blood and the beer. Those falcons have been in the nest of the B&A building. They've been there for 30 years. The feds are studying them. They don't go out and kill any pigeons. And they don't create any more falcons. What the fuck's wrong with them? I know I worked for a veterinary pharmaceutical company, and we used to sell vitamins, powdered vitamins that you had to water for birds to this breeder. It was a professional breeding company. They bred all sorts of exotic and tropical birds. Multi-generational. Oh, okay. And they were buying these powdered vitamins from us, and they came in yellow and blue, and they couldn't buy the blue ones because if they put the blue in the water, the birds wouldn't drink it. They'd only drink it if it was yellow in color. And I got to talking to this guy one day when he came to pick up his order, and he was telling me that they had these great big green parrots, and yes, they see colors. They had these great big green parrots that they spent years trying to breed unsuccessfully. And then they discovered that the males were red. And up until that point, they didn't realize that, because they kept putting two green ones together and nothing had fucking happened. So, I mean, this was some time ago, of course. This, it wasn't, I mean, he wasn't around then. This was way back, But yes, and he explained to me what the problem was, and it's something that goes on throughout nature, and that's we don't need anything blue, because we see that as something that's spoiled or rotten, or and therefore poisonous. Okay, and if you think about it, we don't eat anything blue. Not, I mean, unless we do it intentionally. Okay, otherwise we shy away from that. Something's moldy. But blueberries aren't really blue. They're kind of off blue. I mean, they're more purplish than blue. Bad mycelium is blue. Yeah. Right. Bad mycelium. Purple. Yes. Yes, it is. So it's natural not to eat something that's blue. Okay. So that's the reason the birds won't touch it. I thought that was an interesting concept. You misspelled. That's kind of funny. Yeah, purple. Yes. Yeah, it's purple. They're kind of their own color. Don't you think they're kind of their own color? Purple. How would you pronounce it? Huh? Oh, you want it to be purple or purple? Well, whatever it is, it's happy 420, everybody. What you smoking, Katie? The trouble with tribbles. Oh, the purple with purples. I recently learned of the kakapo bird. What a curious thing. Wise to the world, they seem. Very inquisitive, making high use of associative intelligence. Blue cheese in a blueberry cone. And a blueberry clear cone. Oh, blue cheese and a blueberry clear cone. I always think of something edible. Well, I think the mockingbird is probably the most interesting bird of all. I mean, being able to mimic so many different things, so many different sounds. You did blueberry cone with blueberry OG. Cool. It was blueberry. Imagine. Hence the name mockingbird. Yes, exactly. You're growing blueberry cheesecake. I My other four are mysteries. The only one I know of is the one Buds gave me. The others are a complete surprise to me. So, so we'll see what happens. I'm totally thrilled, but I can only fit four, so I'll see which are the hardiest and which look the best, and I'll shit can the one that isn't going to make it, or maybe I'll just wait and see if they're all females. Who knows, you know? Hence the name Mockingbird. Yeah, it repeats with a sassy voice. Yes, it does. Who told me to wait? Yeah, I want to wait just to see, what I got. It's too soon to make a decision. I want to see where they go from here. I mean, after all, one of them just popped Wednesday evening. I don't know what it's going to do. I just coaxed the shell off it like yesterday. So I want to see who's going to do the best and go from there. Oh, you did. Yeah, of course, you did. Cockapoo, chubby ground birds, moss-colored feathers, hopping around the ancient landscapes of a few New Zealand islands. Oh, unless it's, wait for it, Shiroi. Well, I'm sure glad I waited, because Kickapoo Gold. So since I don't know what these are, can I name them? Give them my own strain names? People, cats, and dogs, killed the kickapoo on most islands, but some remained safe for them. Well, that's good. She-Roy popped in less than 2 days, including soak time. Including soak time. Wow. Well, this little baby here popped in 2.5 days, including soak time. So that's pretty good. It's a 1.5 days in the ground. So I'm pleased. They have to be your born names. My middle name and address. John 1:13. Sounds like a biblical chapter or some shit. I live on a highway. Queen, Maryland. Well, I'm John 1:13. Birds have carrying some interesting genes for a long time. It'd be a shame for planet to lose those genetics. It certainly would. But I mean, you know, the amount of species we lose on a daily basis is absurd, you know. And the ones that you just planted directly, did they pop? The ones you did not, so one popped. So John 1:13 says, consume cannabis and free your soul. And what the fuck's for dinner? I don't know what I'm having, but Mrs. SPLIFFY and I went to the dispensary yesterday to pick up the wows for the month, including this one. And we stopped at Chef Klaus's Beer Stew. So I had looking at the kickapoo bird, looks like a kiwi. Oh, I would imagine a lot of ground birds are, you know, shaped like that. I mean, what the hell? They're not flying. Might as well just get fat. It's part parrot. But I forgot what I was saying again. So I guess, I don't know. Don't get all short-term memory loss is a bitch. It lives 40 to 80 years. Oh, so do we for the most part. You would hope, you know, you'd make it at least that long. See them in video, observe them, consider. Okay. I've watched owls brutally tear apart a nest. That's interesting. World's only living flightless parrot. Oh. It has a human lifespan. Yeah. Well, it does, right? I mean, the average human probably lives 40 to 80 years. Don't you think? Our life expectancy isn't even 80 years, in fact, because it's been dropping ever since oxycodone. Okay, our life expectancy has been falling. So, they have an innate sense of corruption. Okay, the bird has an innate sense of corruption. Okay. Bird brain, that should be a compliment, not an insult. You're right. You're right. Although I think they all have a killer instinct, though. All birds do. You know. I'll move this closer, and then maybe I don't have my glasses. Yeah, that's better. It's easier on my eyes because otherwise it's borderline. Bird brain and bulbous head. You don't think bulbous head is an insult? Protruding forehead, all good. I see. Yeah. I'm pushed up against the little table in front of you. It's making a noise there. So, so you think that's good too? Okay. I think it's silly to make fun of the way somebody looks, only because I'm hideous now. Okay. I didn't used to be hideous as much, but I'm more hideous now than I used to was. So, yeah. Don't make fun of the way a person looks for that very reason. I'm shaking a little less. This is a pretty good indica. The indication is that this is a pretty good indica. I make toothless jokes, then realize I'm out of teeth. Well, I make fun of people that look worse than me when I see them. So, I quite literally. I mean, guys I've known a long time, you know. I don't think they appreciate it, but I do anyway. But then I'm known for my sarcasm. I went in the bar the other day, and this fella Denny was in there. He's a farmer from down the road, and he has a Harley with training wheels on it. You know what I mean? You know, some guys have a three-wheeler, you know, because they're old. And I'm okay with that. But then there's other guys who cheap out and they buy a kit and turn it in, and it looks like it has training wheels on it. And he has one of those. So, he comes up there on his Harley with the training wheels on it. And he came into the bar, and he used to be a pretty hefty guy, and now his arms are like rubber bands. They're so skinny. And I come in, he comes in there, and I said, hey, Denny, you look terrible, I said, what the hell happened to you, And he kind of frowned at me, and I said, let me buy you a beer. So I bought him a beer, and he sits down, and he says, it was hard living. It's hard living. I says, he was a corrections officer. It's hard living. I says, I must have had it worse than you. I said, I hung out. I said, I hung out in bars. You were just on the right side of them all your life. So everybody in the place got a laugh out of that. Well, okay, Stoney, have a nice dinner. Take care. So everybody got a laugh out of that. And and he says, yeah, I know you got to hang out in bars. He says, but I partied hard when I wasn't working. I says, yeah, but I partied hard when I was. And that's about where the conversation ended. So I have nothing else to say about it. I guess that's where the conversation ended. But anyway. Yeah, take care, Stoney. Enjoy whatever dinner might be. I'm still undecided on what I might have. Oh, I know what I was talking about. We went to Chef Klaus's beer stube, Mrs. SPLIFFY and I, yesterday. And it's in Frankfort, Illinois. Good place for Chef Klaus to have a beer stube in Frankfort, Illinois. And so Mrs. SPLIFFY had a Wiener Schnitzel and Spätzle and red cabbage. I, on the other hand, had Jaeger Schnitzel, Spätzle and red cabbage. Now the Jaeger Schnitzel is it's a pork tenderloin that is pounded extremely thin. It's about this big. And it was grilled, and then it was served in a brown gravy with bacon, onions, and chanterelle mushrooms. And of course, the Wiener Schnitzel is the same cut of meat that is covered in a breading and fried in butter, served with a lemon half. And everything was very tasty. And I had a Varsteiner beer, which was also very good. So it all comes around. There's no escaping it. Some will always be positioned to have Yes, I do need my glasses. Perspective on you is a butt of a joke. And so how is some are so intolerant of others? We are butts of joke. Yes, Seeker. People have thin skin nowadays. Yes, they do. But I've made fun of him so many times in the past. I thought he could take it. He, being an ex-corrections officer, and the governor gave convicts the right to vote about 2 years ago, and a year and a half, something like that. And he was fuming mad about that up at the bar. And we were standing outside, and he was having a cigarette, and I was smoking a joint. He was fuming mad about that, and I said, "Well, they live in Illinois, And he shut up about that, and I said, "Well, what do you think about the living wage? About the minimum wage being a living wage?" And I just couldn't get him to agree with that. He said they thought that they ought to increase the minimum wage, but he just wouldn't admit that it ought to be a living wage. Just, wouldn't go that far. So he's kind of a dick anyway. So, but he has taken in a young lady who is fleecing the bejesus out of him. So, and she's a snake. I had some vintage Heineken coasters at the bar that I was using for my own personal whatever, for my use. I brought them up there for my use. And I happened to mention to her that 2 of the 3 coasters I brought up there were vintage. And the next time I went up there, they were gone. And I knew no one else would have taken them. But, I didn't say anything. I just brought up a couple more that weren't, So, okay, if you say so. I got my just desserts, huh, Katie? I won't make fun of him anymore. Oh, not me. Okay. We are wired for validation. The aspect of how we navigate social norms. Positive versus negative feedback. Words can be like swats on the nose for young puppy and human child. Well, as far as a human child goes, I think if they're still in diapers, a smack on the butt is not out of line to get their attention. Okay, single smack on the butt. I'm talking about. Validation only works for parking tickets. There you go. People are never satisfied. So they're never validated in their own minds. Well, that's true. And it's only in this country that people live that way. Okay. I mean, we expect this, under the Constitution, okay, it's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not life, liberty, and happiness. Okay. And this is where people don't think. Okay. In other countries, they're aware of this. Okay. I've been to Europe. They live a very different life. And I went to a museum. Okay. It was a music box museum in a little town that's pretty much, it's a tourist town. It's a place where I think people stop there, and it's geared for tourism. Okay. And this kid couldn't have been more than 19 years old. Took us on a tour of this music box museum. And he couldn't have done it with more enthusiasm. Okay. This kid was totally in to these music boxes. Okay. I mean, seriously, he was into this job. Okay. And it was like he knew that this is what he had to do in order to progress in life. Okay. He wasn't going to blow it off because he knew that he wasn't going to have things handed to him the rest of his life. Okay. That he had to work for whatever his future was going to be. Unlike the majority of young people in this country who think things are going to get handed to them. Okay. Because it certainly wasn't that way when I was growing up. Okay. I mean, you didn't get shit handed to you. You went out and worked for it. Okay. Of course, they also paid a decent wage. And validation of learned behaviors, like Heidi standing at the door and looking towards SPLIFFY with thought in mind to go out. Or is that Buster? Oh no, that was Buster just looking outside. Now he's over here lying down. They just came in. I mean, he just looks outside. He watches for squirrels. You know, a lot of squirrels living in these oak trees. So he didn't want to go out. He just came right over here and lay down on his bed. So they're fine. They're doing just fine. Validation, like my own experience, is a failed theory. Yeah, well, I think I'm going to wrap things up and go find something to eat. You know, all I had was my yogurt this morning, yogurt and granola, and some pineapple. So, you know what I always say? Nothing funny about peace, love, and understanding. And doing Ozzy on Tuesday at the request of our friend Stoney you know, Al. You can call me Al. So have a good night, all. And hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.